Showdown, and I'm back here with another Mythical Monday video. Now, as always, people, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Feel free to drop a comment if you like, and I'll happily get back to you. Now, let's get straight into it, man. Mythical Mondays, man. Let's get... I'm really excited about this one. Let's head over to the 140 pound division. Great Mythical Monday matchup here. This is one that's been talked about and one that's been debated about for a long time. And there's a lot of contrasting opinions as to how this fight would go. So it's only right we bring it to this channel here and get you guys' opinions on it. Francisco, Michael Maxwell, DS, all you guys, I want to get your opinions on this fight here. Aaron the Hawk Pryor against PERNELL Sweet Pea Whitaker. Who wins this fight and why? How does it go down? Where do we start? Both of them great fighters, both of them in the top 100 fighters over the last 80 to 100 years for sure. These two guys have a lot of similarities in terms of, you know, their career and how it panned out, and you know, just the level of success that they achieved in their careers. Both of them had fantastic amateur careers. For example, PERNELL Sweet Pea obviously went all the way to the Olympics, did his thing. Aaron Pryor didn't actually make it to the Olympics, but he was an alternate. He should have really made the Olympics really, but he was robbed in the Olympic trials, but he did make it as an alternate. And as a pro, both of them listed at 5'6", both of them the same height. PERNELL Whitaker, multi-weight world champion in different weight divisions, fantastic defensive fighter, great counter-punch ability, one of the best, probably the best defensive fighter ever, as we know. Oh, he's up there. Like, I mean, he's top two for sure, PERNELL Whitaker. He was that good. You hear a lot of fighters today that are in the game, or fighters of yesterday's generation. You got the likes of Zab Judah, those guys. They all looked up to Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea was just that kind of fighter, man. Great counter-punching ability, like I said. Just a southpaw. Did everything great, do you know what I mean? He wasn't a particularly hard puncher, but he had enough pop in his punches to make you think. And for him, he got robbed a couple of times. You know, he lost 4 times in his career, and you know, you look at the Chavez fight, that was a draw. Many people believe he did enough to win that. The Oscar De La Hoya fight, Oscar De La Hoya at the time was being built up, as you guys know, to be a superstar, and he did turn out to be a superstar. But that fight against PERNELL Whitaker, many people believe that PERNELL did enough to win that as well. Despite De La Hoya throwing a lot, the more accurate and clean shots were coming from PERNELL Whitaker. However, he didn't get the decision on that. That was a win for De La Hoya. They wanted the rematch. PERNELL Whitaker wanted it. To Oscar's credit, he wanted it, but Bob Arum wasn't really sure. He didn't really want it too much, and they never got to rematch. The one convincing loss of PERNELL Whitaker's career was against Felix Trinidad. Trinidad was another fighter on the way up. PERNELL Whitaker was slightly older in his career, but Felix Trinidad was on the way up, and he won a unanimous decision. We know how much, you know, how much power he carries in those hands. He actually went all the way to 12 rounds against PERNELL Whitaker, and he did win it pretty convincingly on the cards there. But yeah, I mean, overall, PERNELL Whitaker, man, fantastic, brilliant fighter. Do you know what I mean? You can put him in there with I've done a Mythical Monday video on him before against the likes of Manny Pacquiao, and I picked him to beat Pacquiao if they were to ever fight in their prime. How would he get on against Aaron the Hawk Pryor, man? This is one of Laurie's favorite fighters from Cincinnati. This guy, man, we know about the 2 classic matchups that he had with Alexis Arguello. The first one ended controversially, but then Aaron Pryor made no mistake in the rematch. And this guy, he could have achieved even more in his career had he not suffered the drug, you know, abuse later on towards the end of his career, man. And it did really have an effect. He did manage to get over that later on in his life, but you know, he had a fantastic swarming style, a lot of pressure, punched ferociously. And this fight here is just a great contrast to styles once again. You've got the great, slick defensive work of PERNELL Whitaker against the swarming, you know, come forward, aggressive, power punching style of Aaron Pryor. Not many people at all could deal with that sort of pressure. Even the likes of Alexis Arguello, who was the favorite going into that fight with Aaron Pryor, the first one, he couldn't deal with it in the end. Do you know what I mean? It was a good fight, but he couldn't. Ultimately, Aaron Pryor was too much for him. Would it have been the same for PERNELL Whitaker? When I go online and I have a look at some of the predictions for this fight, man, because I just wanted to have a look and see what people were saying. You've got one corner that will just be all the way Sweet Pea. They'll just say, look, he had too much ability on the back foot. He would have made Pryor miss so many punches, and he would have made Pryor miss a lot of punches, but Pryor would not stop coming. would he have been able to just catch Whitaker and trap him and, you know, keep him where he wants to keep him and do enough to win a decision? It's very possible. And you have the Aaron Pryor fan base who will say, no, he would have beaten Sweet Pea. He would have just been all over him like a cheap suit, and I would have picked him. So I want to know what you guys think about this fight, man. Who have you got winning this and why? It's such a tough one to call. For me, in Sweet Pea's prime, I find it really hard to pick against him. I know he's got a couple of losses on his record. So has Aaron Pryor. He had the one loss, and he was a ferocious puncher as well, man. Not many fights went the distance with him. You get the feeling that maybe, do you know what I'm going to say for this fight here? I'm going to say that if this was a 15-rounder, maybe Aaron Pryor might have done enough to take Pernell Whitaker's legs away, you know. I think he might have done. But if this was 12, maybe Pernell would have done enough to win the decision. I think that is going to be my official line going into this Mythical Monday matchup, man, because it's very hard to call. I mean, you can make a strong argument for or against either fighter here, which is why I'm putting it out there for you guys and want to hear your opinions on it. Let me know who wins this fight and why, man. How does it go? I think we know, like, if you're going to pick Pernell Whitaker, you're going to tell me how it goes. And if you pick Aaron Pryor, you're going to tell me how it goes. But let me know what you think, how you see this fight going, man. And give me your final predictions to this one. Drop the thoughts in the comment section below, guys. And obviously any other recommendations for any more Mythical Monday matchups. And I'll catch you guys on the next video next week.